Right, this could be all over the place, but we'll see how we go. Right, so as you can see, still working on the skin, but we're getting there. Right, so something I neglected to say in my video yesterday. As I was coming out of the bank to go to the bus stop where the bus driver rejected me because I wasn't wearing a mask, there was a guy busking and he was singing How Great Thou Art. You perhaps have heard the Elvis Presley version if you're not into church, but most church people would know that hymn. And I've got to say, that's one of my favorite hymns. One of the things that I like to do is to play hymns on my saxophone when I get a chance. I don't know, maybe if you're a musician or something, you will understand where I'm coming from, but I get a buzz from playing on. There's certain notes, when you hit certain notes, well, all right, I play the saxophone. I don't know if any of you play an instrument, but from my perspective, playing the saxophone, there are certain notes, like I like to play in the key of B flat. There are certain notes, when you hit them, it just sends you into orbit. So one of those hymns pitched in B flat is How Great Thou Art. So I've got my hymn book, but I don't, because I'm always working, I don't much get a chance to play anything on the saxophone these days. And as well, I've got to consider the neighbors. But this guy was, I came out of the bank and he was singing and playing How Great Thou Art. And as I'm coming across the road, I'm harmonizing. So it brought me back to, I don't remember when it was, but it was sometime in the early 2000s, I believe, at a funeral. And the funeral was for this gentleman from church. And he was always someone who I viewed him as a mentor. I think in hindsight, I have more appreciation for him because he used to say to me, it's about singing the right song. It's the right song for the singer. Or rather, you've got to find the right song. And I didn't at the time understand what he meant, but as time went on, after he passed on, I realized what he meant. But he was a great source of help to me when I was trying to overcome my issues with performing in front of people. So when he died, I sensed that he would have wanted me to sing at his funeral. And I volunteered, but, church people, I was told, oh, we'll get back to you. And nobody did because, like I said, church people. And because he always encouraged me to sing, he would record me sometimes. So at the funeral, I sat in my usual space where I would sit in church. And it was this same hymn, How Great Thou Art, was on the program. And so I've got quite a loud voice. If you go down, you will see some of my videos where I'm singing and playing saxophone. Right, so I've got quite a loud voice. So I was harmonizing on the hymn. So remember, I said that I had volunteered to sing because I sensed that he wanted me to sing at his funeral. So I was harmonizing, so I'm not going to sing here, but I was doing all the harmonies. And I remember a couple of people saying to me, was that you I could hear? But all of that aside, after the funeral, during the reception in the hall, if you want to call it a reception, I don't know what you would call it, his sister came up to me and she said, I could hear you. You made me cry. Thank you. And at that point, I thanked God. And I said to him, I did get to sing. Right? So that guy yesterday singing that hymn, I stopped and I talked to him. And I said, this is something we used to sing at church. as well, my sister, the one in Canada, we used to sing at baptisms, and people would turn out for the baptism just to hear us sing. I don't sort of like to, as the case is with the book, I don't like to talk about things that I do because it comes across like I'm self-promoting, which I'm not. I just like to share experiences, because I think when you share experiences, sometimes people can benefit and find inspiration. You know, and from inspiration, it can you can go on to emulate, hopefully the good things, not the bad things. So I actually stopped and I spoke to him. So I was on a high at the point where I went to the bus stop, and the bus driver came along and you know, all masked up and indicating, where's your mask, and you're not getting on my bus, and drives off. And I was in such a fabulous mood. I'm thinking, how is this supposed to affect me? You know, so I just thought I neglected to mention that yesterday, so I figured I'd mention it now. But I came back from the hospital, I think it's coming up to 10:30 now, 11ish, around that time anyway. And as standard, whenever I'm at the hospital, I call my mother so she can say hello to my sister. And I do that as standard. I dial the number and I give the phone to my sister, and she talks to her. So it was really funny because I didn't speak. Last night my mother called me and she said she started ranting with regards to what, you know, advice that people at the hospital have been giving. And I said, I need to conserve my energy because I need to sew. I don't want to hear about anything right now. So, you know, that was a conversation, because I'm quite plain like that, and it doesn't matter who you are, I'm going to tell you what I'm thinking. Anyway, so today, all day, right through until the time I left here, I think about 20 to 6 to go to the hospital. Right through, all morning up to that point, I spoke to no one. Nobody called me. All I did was work. And I'm way ahead of my schedule. I hit my target for the day, done, completed, and on to tomorrow's target, right? So if I want to, I can just work for maybe 4 hours. I can do a night shift if I want to, and I can get tomorrow's target done tonight. If I want to, then I can have all of tomorrow off. So anyways, I handed the phone to my sister, and mother came on the phone, spoke to her, and then usual routine, hands back to me. And she said, oh, I didn't call you today because I figured you might be working and I didn't want to interrupt you. And I said, well done. And she burst out laughing. Now, laughing isn't something that she does often, but she, you know, she laughed. And so later on, I'm jumping forward slightly, but when I got back in, I called her, as I said I would, to discuss how my sister's getting on. And she said, yeah, I didn't call you yet today because I didn't want to disturb you because I thought you might be sewing. Now, anybody who knows my mother knows that this isn't her normal behavior. This isn't her normal behavior. So she now is doing everything she can. She's trying to hang out with me, right? So she wants to come all the way from Kent to bring me food for a day out. This isn't her style, right? This is not my mother's style. Anybody who knows her will tell you what my mother's like. So I said in one of my very early videos with regards to the funny bus driver who kept threatening not to let me on the bus if I don't have a mask and blah, blah, blah. The way he was reacting. I said then that what is in you can affect people in such a way that they want to be around you. It is like, I don't want to be disrespectful, like insects to a light, or honey bees to flowers or whatever. But you know what I mean, right? So I know what's going on. It's my energy. It's the energy that my mother wants to attach herself to. Now, this is the same mother who kicked me out when I was 17 years old. She didn't appreciate me at that point, but I keep telling people I'm the same person that I've always been. There is no change. I am still the same Elizabeth Young that I've always been. So now she's sort of, she's saying, oh no, I can come, it can just be a day out. I'll just come for a couple of hours and I'll go back. It's like, you're going to come all the way from Kent for a couple of hours just to bring me food. All right, then, whatever. So I kind of said to her, all right, whatever. So she said, right, we'll arrange it. But I just think it's really funny because obviously I'm all about God. And each and every one of us, I don't care whether you believe in God or not, each and every one of us, if we are God's children, then he would have an interest in each of us. And I've always thought that my mother, I just finished watching something, Lady Colin Campbell, and she's talking about Wallis Simpson, what a good hostess she was. And she's saying that she's the best hostess ever. And I would kind of argue with her on that and say, no, my mother's a better hostess. She's really fantastic at entertaining people. But I just think that she never, because of the way she was and because of the way things were, she never sort of came into her own. So I think, why not? If she wants to come and hang out with me, why don't I just let her? It's not going to kill me, But, so I'll leave that with her to arrange, and I'm sure whenever she decides it's suitable for her, then no problem. She can come and sit down while I'm sewing. But I just kind of, the whole thing with this conversation, because she's been pushing this for, I would say, the last 3 weeks, just doing everything she can just to come and hang out with me kind of thing. And she doesn't do this with any of her other children. But I think what it is, there is a time and a season and a reason for everything. And I think she's a very talented person, but because of, she's not, it's a bit like, I'm going to give a quick example. I was very nervous about singing. And this is a true story. One night I'd volunteered to sing, and the reason I did this was because I was inspired to do it. So if God tells me to do something, I will do it, even if I am completely out of my depth and I'm nervous. I don't care. If he tells me to do something, I'll do it. So I was asked to give a talk at church, and this was going back to 2004. I remember, because it was during the Athens Olympics. I was asked to give a talk at church, and during the process of being asked, I was inspired to volunteer to sing. Now, I'm the kind of person, at the time, very nervous about standing in front of people and singing. But nevertheless, I was inspired, so I said, can I sing a song as a musical item? And the person who asked me to do the talk said to me, are you sure? And I said, yeah. Even though I know what the process is going to be, I said yes, because I was inspired to do it. So anyways, going on, as soon as I got home from church that Sunday, the first thing I did was grab the hymn book. And in that moment, I felt God feel sorry for me twice. In that moment, when I grabbed the hymn book, I actually felt God feeling sorry for me. And I shall tell you what happened. So I practiced the hymn that I was going to sing. Master, the Tempest is Raging. Fantastic hymn. Look it up. And the night before I was due to give the talk and sing, I lost my voice. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, it's bad enough that I'm nervous, and now I've lost my voice. So I tried all manner of quack remedies to try and get my voice back. Nothing. So then in the end, I said to God, please give me my voice back. And if you give it back to me, I promise that I won't be afraid to use it again. So I got my voice back the next morning. I was able to give the talk. I was able to sing. But being the person that I am, I keep my word. If I say I'm going to do something, I will do it, irrespective of the degree of difficulty. So that's when I discovered karaoke sometime later. So even though people think that people who go to karaoke, they go because they are wannabe stars or something, for me, that was an opportunity to go and practice singing in front of people. And I can tell you, I used to practice prior to karaoke. I used to practice until I could do it in my sleep, if necessary. And now I don't need to practice. I don't need to warm up. I don't need to do anything. I can go and stand in front of any audience, open my mouth and sing. So it is one of those things where if God wants you to do something, He will find a way for you to do it. So I've gone all around the houses, just talking about the guy that I saw yesterday singing "How Great Thou Art," to make that point. But I don't know. I've had a fantastic day. Nothing's happened. Nothing special's happened. I've just worked. Went to see my sister at the hospital, and as I'm speaking to you, I've got a chicken in the oven and some potatoes roasting because I've been neglecting my eating habits, and sort of doing a lot of things. So when I'm finished here, I'm going to do a bit of sewing while I'm waiting for the food to sort itself out. But I can tell you from my perspective that nothing that you're supposed to do, if there's something that you're supposed to do, it is not impossible. And I've got to say honestly that one of the things, I mean, I know that my mother is a very talented person, somebody who's got a lot going for her, but it's just been laying there dormant. So that's the reason I gave you the example just now of me with the karaoke and the singing, and God taking away my voice and stitching me up so that I could make that vow, and then I would have to make sure that I honor it. So in the same way, I kind of feel excited for my mother, because knowing the kind of person that I am, I don't take prisoners. For her to be saying to me, I didn't call you today because I figured you might be sewing and I didn't want to disturb you. If I was to say that to any of my siblings or anybody who knows her, they'd sort of like think, what? Because that's not her style, right? So it is good. You can teach old dogs new tricks. I don't I don't take prisoners. I posted on Facebook earlier that I was in a lift with someone who, I guess he works for the hospital or something. He was wearing one of those cheap blue masks, and obviously I don't wear one. And he said to me, "Where's your mask?" And I just said, "I don't wear one." And he just kind of shrugged as if to say, "Oh well." And he went that way and I went the other way. Right? So for me, I don't do things because other people are doing them. I do what I need to do because it's what I need to do, because it's the right thing to do. So in the same way, I don't, even though I may be able to see potential in people, I'm not going to force any issues with them. Yeah, I might encourage them to be, to work towards their potential or something. I might. But in my mother's case, we've never had I would say we've never had a relationship, right? But it's not that I'm looking to have a relationship with my mother, because I don't need to have a relationship with anybody. I'm here, and I was in the kitchen earlier listening to a video on YouTube while I was preparing the chicken, and I'm thinking to myself, this is the life. I don't have anyone bothering me. I don't have anyone, I'm not having to listen to anybody sort of trying to bring me down to their level, in order to what's the word I'm looking for? All right, so all right, It's the thing about where people are always saying to me, you, how come you're single, this, that, the other, and so on, right? So it's assuming that because you're single, so there's a problem with being single, you should have somebody in your life. But my problem is, but it's not a problem. If you want to look at it this way, it's that if I have perfect peace in my life, why do I want to destroy it by bringing someone in who's not on the same level as me? And that's the reality. That's what's going to happen. So I imagine myself in a situation where I'm here and I'm having to bring my sort of like lower the tone in order to make somebody feel comfortable. I don't have to do that. I can be exactly who I am. I can live my life freely. I can come and go as I please. I can do everything that I like. And at the end of the day, it's again, I'm all about God. If it is God's intention for me to meet somebody, or for somebody to meet me and connect and whatever, and we live happily ever after, He's gonna have to find somebody at the same level as me. I don't believe in compromising, right? I don't do compromise. And people tell me that I'm selfish because I say I don't compromise. I give you the example of my mother. Everybody, my other siblings, have done the compromising thing with her, and it's not worked out great. I have never compromised with her. I didn't have any contact with her for 10 years. And the only reason I'm in contact with her is because my sister's in hospital, and I've got to sort of be the one to, I'm like the bridge, if you like. But I've not done anything at all to encourage my mother to want to hang out with me. But she's choosing to do that. So she is the one who's sort of like modifying her standards to match mine. And I think that's a fantastic thing, because she's even laughing. She's happier for it. So I guess the general message of this video is don't modify your standards to accommodate people. If your standards are good enough, let people come up to them, right? Don't change who you are if you know that you are on the right path, or if there's nothing wrong with you. In other words, don't feel that you need to modify so that other people can feel comfortable with you, or so people can attach to you. If they can't attach, it's too bad. But I mean, in my situation, I don't need anyone around me. I love my life. I just love the quietness. If I choose to have noise around me, I can choose that. If I choose to just have a quiet existence like today, I was just working in silence, and I managed to hit my target. It was fantastic. It was raining hard about an hour before I was due to go to the hospital. And I just said, I uttered aloud, I said, you can rain as hard as you like, I'm still going to the hospital. And by the time I was due to go, rain had stopped. I came back, no rain. I didn't get wet. So all is good. My sister's in good spirits. We listened to some videos. I'm going back tomorrow. We're going to watch the men's final of the French Open, hoping it's going to be a victory for Rafa Nadal. And that's life. Life can be so simple. It can be so, rather not simple. It's in the simplicity that you find joy. And I mean, there's nothing in particular special going on in my life right now, but it is fantastic. What can I say? So it'll be interesting. So I will leave it up to Mother to decide when it's suitable for her to come over. But it is what she wants to do, and I'm not going to deter her. So, but like I said, it's good, because even at her age, at 78 years old, there's something, there's an opportunity there for growth. And I just think that's the whole point of life. It's about having experiences, growing, just becoming better people. And for many years, like I said, at 17 she kicked me out. So and I went, it's been patchy, but I would say I've spent the majority of my life not having any kind of contact with my mother. But for whatever her reasons are, if she wants to come and hang out with me, it's going to be on my terms. And I'm hoping that, anyway, God has a plan for her in the same way He's got a plan for me and a plan for everybody else. I hope that it will help take her towards that plan. And we will see what happens from there. I will keep you posted anyway. But guys, have a good night. Let me go check my chicken. See you later.